Well, good morning, students of Standard 9th. Welcome to the second video. The topic is Reach for the Top Part 1, Santosh Yadav. Today, we will be discussing the value points of this chapter in detail. Reach for the Top Part 1, Santosh Yadav has been extracted from the book Beehive, the main textbook, main literature reader for Standard 9th, prescribed for English, the other being Moments, which is the supplementary reader. This is a biography again. If you notice, children, lots of biography have been presented in this book Beehive, and a part of autobiography has also been given. The Kalam one that we studied, a part of childhood, what we can learn from the childhood of Abdul Kalam. So who is Santosh Yadav? The basic question begins with, who is Santosh Yadav? First thing, she is a mountaineer. She used to be a mountaineer. Now she is retired. The record she holds, the youngest woman in the world to scale the Mount Everest. The first woman in the world to have scaled the Everest twice. Now these are two extraordinary achievements. She scaled Mount Everest for the first time in the year 1992. She was just 20 years old, right? And it is not as if she wanted to be a mountaineer right from her childhood. She got her experience after college. She learned everything after college. Now about her childhood, she was from a small village in Joniavas, which belongs to Rewari district of Haryana, very close to Delhi, into a family, and she was born into a family of rich but conservative landowners. They were very traditional people. And she was born in a society where the birth of a child was regarded as a blessing. We all know about Haryana. If you are now the condition of Haryana has improved, with the girls of Haryana bringing anecdotes for India, the way they have performed in various sporting events like the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, where they won gold medals, and not only gold medals, several medals for India. The story begins with Santosh's mother's encounter with a holy man. There was this holy man who once visited the house of Santosh. Finding Santosh's mother pregnant, he blessed her that she is blessed with a boy child. The holy man knew very well the people of the society. He knew everyone desired for a male child. He was surprised when Santosh's grandmother got up and asked the holy man to bless them with a girl. He was shocked because that society, none in the society ever wanted a girl child. But still, that's what the demand of the family was, and he blessed Santosh's mother with a girl, that she has a girl. And his blessings came true. After 5 sons, Santosh was born. She was the 6th child in the family of 5 sons. Right? She already had 5 brothers. She was given a name Santosh, which means contentment. Contentment means you are satisfied with whatever you have, but she was never satisfied with whatever she had. She was not satisfied with her place in the society. She was not satisfied by the way she was brought up by her parents. She was not satisfied with the entire social fabric where she was growing up. So she was hardly ever content. She was always looking to break out, break free, get something for her own. She wanted to live life on her own terms, which she did eventually. So this is how Santosh was different from other girls of his society. Now, other difference is, when the girls, where other girls of the village wore traditional Indian clothes, she preferred shorts. Her value was whatever she was doing was rational. Nobody else had to bother about her. They had to change themselves if they didn't like. Because Santosh thought she was right and she was rational. She was logical in what she did. She had patience, so she didn't react immediately. She waited for the right moment. And what was the right moment? I told you in the previous video that the girls of the society were married at the age of 16. So she waited till her parents would force her to get married. Till then, she was somehow gearing herself up to face bigger challenges in the life. And she waited patiently till she turned 16. And once she was 16, her marriage was being contemplated by the parents. And as a result, what did she do? she had decided that she had not yet decided what she wanted, but she had made sure what she didn't want. And what she didn't want was an early marriage at the age of 16. As the first point says, she lived on her own terms. So obviously she was not ready to give in to her parents' wills. Marriage was the last thing on her mind. Actually, it was not in her mind at all. So she threatened her parents that she would never get married. Right? If they forced her to marry then and didn't give her proper education, if she never had proper education, she would never get married. That's the condition she took, and she went to Delhi on her own. The parents threatened that they wouldn't pay for her fees, thought the girl would get scared and come back to the home and they can get them married. But what happened was, she told them that she would work part-time for her school fees and other expenses. And her parents felt threatened by that. They felt their status in the society would be lowered if their girl moved out to earn. They were very conservative people, as we mentioned earlier. Right? They associated their pride and their fame with the reputation of their daughters. So that's how narrow thinking is. Now, after she finished college, she joined Maharani College in Jaipur. In Jaipur, she had to live in a hostel. And where did she get a room? She got a room in the Kasturba hostel. And through the window of her room, she could see the Aravali hills. She often watched villagers climbing up the hills and then vanishing after some time, which was very intriguing for her. Now, she became a world famous mountaineer, holds world records in mountaineering. And this girl, when did it begin? When she was in college, not from her childhood. Right? We say you have to begin early to achieve big. Her case was different, but it doesn't mean that it would suit you. So when she was intrigued how villagers vanish once they climb the hill, she decided to visit the Aravalis. And once she went there, she found some mountaineers and she requested them if she could join them in their expedition, in their adventurous journey of whatever they were doing. Right? They readily accepted the offer. You see, mountaineering, not many people take up a sport. So the more companions you find, it's the better. So obviously, the mountaineers were very happy to find another member in their team, because mountaineering is a teamwork. You have to work as a team to achieve what you want to achieve. It can't be done singularly. Now, Uttarakashi has now been named Uttarakhand or Uttaranchal, I think it is. So there she joined Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. She found mountaineering so intriguing and so interesting, she decided to join Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. She saved money and enrolled into a course of mountaineering over there. After completing her college semester, she headed straight to Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, and she wrote a letter of apology to her father that she couldn't visit them during the sem break holidays. It's a tradition. Whenever there are holidays, parents expect their children to visit the native place and spend some time with the parents. But she wrote an apology letter because she had found a mission for her life. She wanted to climb mountains, and for that she needed training. And for that training, she was already late. She didn't begin early in her training, so didn't want to waste any time. And straight away, once her college semester was over, she straight away headed to the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, which is in Uttaranchal. And for this, she didn't seek any additional help from the family. She saved money from whatever money she got from her parents to survive in the hostel or other to meet her monthly expenses. She used that money, and her life changed since then. She started joining one mount climbing expedition or other every year. Then I told you, she was gifted. Her climbing skills started maturing. Once you are talented and you put your talent at work, your talent grows. Talent and hard work, these are two things. This must be combined. You work hard and hard, you may grow as a human being, but you can't produce as good thing as a talented person can. But you're talented, you do not put in hard work, entire talent goes to waste. So whatever her three talents, she had iron will. Physically, she was very strong. She could endure, she could survive, and mentally, she was very tough. Now, in 1999, she kept applying to different climbers to let them join their expedition, and she was first time in 1992 she was accepted by a group of mountaineers to climb the Everest. And in the same year she became the youngest woman in the world to scale Mount Everest, and she was only 20 years old. So you see, this iron will and strong head, she kept trying, and by the time she was 20, she was on the top of the world. She was standing on Mount Everest. And she was only 20 years old. So this is a big achievement for a young person who is just 20 and achieved something that took people. You need to be a very matured climber to take up such difficult task of climbing such altitude. Anyway, she was also considerate, kind. She provided special care to a climber which she found near the south column. Unfortunately, she couldn't save him. She managed to save another climber, Mohan Singh. How? By her sacrifice, by sharing her oxygen with that person who was injured. This quality, this caring approach towards the fellow team members made her special among the mountaineers. This is among mountaineering, when you take up such tough challenges as Everest, survival is the key. And in order to survive, it's very rare to see people sacrificing the most essentials. So in the next year, she joined an Indo-Nepalese women's expedition. So Indian women and Nepalese women were jointly going to scale Mount Everest, and she successfully climbed Mount Everest again. And by doing this, she became the first woman to scale the Everest twice. Right? And due to this achievement, she was conferred with the Padma Shri. It's a civilian award. Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan and Bharat Ratna. These are the 4 civilian awards you get when you contribute towards the society or towards sports or towards education. You know, the contribution towards your country gets you this recognition from the government. And what was the feeling of Santosh when she was standing literally on the top of the world, the topmost surface of the world? First thing she do was she unfurled her tricolor, our flag, our national flag, and she was very proud to see our flag fluttering. She says she couldn't describe the feeling in words, how she felt while standing there. Definitely very proud, that she knows, but other than that, the sense of achievement, she couldn't say that. She felt close to God. A very spiritual moment for her. She was humbled by it. It's not she was very proud of her achievement, that I'm just 21 years of age and I've already reached Everest twice. And she was a true environmentalist as well. She collected and brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from Himalayas, and this she couldn't do alone. So she must have motivated her teammates. So she was a good motivator as well, because this is a very good job, taking care of the environment of Himalayas. Children, that will be all for this week. In the next video, we'll discuss the question answer of this chapter. Till then, goodbye.